dubbing and going off at any moment because I think there's somebody outside waiting to like interrupt me specifically while the show is going on. I've been waiting to talk to them or whatever, but I think they're waiting to just interrupt me specifically while the show is going on. So it's if you just see the show just go out, it's because they got the cue that we're live and they're pulling up on me. So I just want you to be cute. Just be clear on that. But there was a live that went up. It's about 20 something minutes long. Go check it out. I made some points in there that are specific to what's going on in New York City and the Mayor Adams. The name of that video was Morning Coffee, NYC Gun Violence. Oh no, that's the one we're in right now. Hold on. I'll tell you what's the name of that video, and then I'll get to what this video was about, because it's basically the same thing. It's a continuation. Also, just so we could be clear, throw the Cash App up in the chat. Any supporters that want to pull up this morning, it'll be beautiful. Copy. Any supporters that want to pull up this morning, it'll be beautiful. With that being said, I'm looking for the thing. I hate when that happens. What's the name of the video? The name of the video is Morning Coffee. Is Eric Adams the first mayor taking crime fairly? There's a reason why I said fairly in the name of that title. I wanted to purposely invoke a fear of were we wrong when we did certain things? I want to say something. I keep hearing about this defund the police. I'm 100% against defunding the police. I think that that's foolish. That doesn't make sense. I think that we need to fund the community. So once again, I am against defunding the police. But if we're going to put that money that we're taking away from the police directly into something that has to deal with children, something that has to deal with schools, something that has to deal with community development. And I'm not talking about we're going to put the money into building some buildings. That's not putting the money into anything. What that is paying off the contractors of New York City. We're not doing that. We're going to actually use whatever we're going to be spending for the benefit of our community and for the benefit of the future of our community. And I know a lot of us would like for things to happen right now, but we have to understand that the future is always the children. So that's what we have to focus on. There's things that we need to try to change in this moment, but there's also things that we have to put into place. So 10, 15, 20 years from now, our loved ones that now will inherit our world aren't suffering from some of the same ills. So that's why we have to start having better community relations. Because what happens is when you have better community relations, when you have situations like the PAL and whatnot, that also helps stem gang problems, gang violence. That helps people to have a place to go where they could be able to communicate, have dialogue. So we need to have more of these things, just so we can be clear. I want the PAL to come back as quickly as possible. Now, listen and pay attention. This is what they aren't telling you. I'm going to tell you right now. Gun violence is actually down this year in contrast to last year. This year, at the same amount of time, in contrast to last year, at the same amount of time, gun violence is down. These are all facts. These are 100% facts. This isn't me saying a thing. This isn't me just bringing up a thing. The police are funded. Why would you overfund them? They're already funded. The police are fine. Whatever their budget says that they should have, I'm pretty sure they have more than enough. They're fine. One of the reasons why people are saying defund the police is because the police is getting a large percentage of the monies that the city uses. I am 100% against lowering our security. I don't even understand that logic. That doesn't make sense to me. Now, listen and pay attention. There's less gun violence this year than last year. So I just want to explain what that means. What that literally means is we wasn't hearing about all of this gun violence last year. Why were we not hearing about all of this gun violence last year? Why were we not hearing about all of this gun violence last year? Because there was an agenda going on. The agenda was defund the police. If we're talking about all the gun violence in the street, you can't at the same time say defund the police. I'm going to say that again. Why were they not reporting on this gun violence last year? Because I want to be clear on something. We, as the black part of YouTube, has been reporting on this gun violence the whole entire time. We've never stopped. So when I say they, I'm literally talking about the Associated Press. I'm literally talking about everybody except for WPIX. PIX 11 in New York City. They are by far the best local news, in my opinion. And the only reason why I choose them over BronxNet 12 is because BronxNet 12 only talks about the Bronx, while WPIX talks about the entirety of New York City and the outlying regions, tri-state area. So listen and pay attention. Don't fall for the hoopla of our activists. I'm coming for them again. Don't fall for the hoopla of our activists now talking about ways to stem violence, and they care about the community. They care about the community. Don't get this confused. But last year, there was more gun violence than now. And last year, they were saying defund the police. Mayor Adams takes office. He doesn't even have all the new police yet, but you know what he does have? 1010 Wins is great reporting. 1010 Wins is global though, right? Is 1010 Wins only New York or global? I don't know. I don't listen to the radio, so I wouldn't know about 1010 Wins. I don't listen to the radio any further. But when I did used to listen to the radio, 1010 Wins was always on point. This is a fact. Now listen, pay attention. Mayor Eric Adams don't have more police out there. He's just changed some of our policing practices. Pay attention. We have less gun violence than this time last year, and weed is legal. Weed is legal. Okay, so one of the dope things that I do over here often, and this is what gets a lot of the communications. I'm not even gonna say miscommunications. This is the way in which people come in here and try to trick the conversation. Is me having did a little bit of taking a couple of classes in sociology in college, taught me a couple of things about human behavior. And one of the things that I usually discuss is how there's mechanisms out there in the world, and those mechanisms create a vacuum. And so once this vacuum is created, people are going to do this or people are going to do that. You understand what I'm saying? So listen and pay attention. I want to be clear on. They're about to knock on the door pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. So listen and pay attention. I want to be clear on this. When they created that agenda of defund the police took a step back. When the police took a step back, when they had to deal with that agenda for a year and a half, 2 years, how long it was that they had to deal with that? Year and a half, 2 years, 2.5 years or some shit like that. The police took a step back. Not just a step back in their, corrupt ways, but actual good officers now have to second guess so they don't get caught up in the bullshit. You really, see, this is the problem when you're in a war. You don't have time for second guessing. It's bang, bang. So now the police having to second guess, now they just don't move as quickly. You don't think the hood notices that? And if the hood notices that, the bitch ass niggas notices that, right? Because that's what we're talking about right now. We're not talking about, the people that are misled, because a lot of people get misled and just do some weirdo shit. We're not talking about the people that they doing what they got to do because they're trying to feed their families. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about the people that's trying to keep, that they hustling. We're not talking about them. All right, this shit happened. We already know what it is. We talking specifically about the people. No, I was never about defunding the police nor Black Lives Matter. Boom. Now I'm gonna kick you. Defunding the police. Listen and pay attention. Eric Adams. How many other mayors have had a conversation with who they consider to be the leaders of the gangs in the street and publicized it? Is it The Godfather where they come in? They all speaking to the Godfather, right? All of them. All of the lower bosses, right? After they finish talking to the Godfather decides that one of them niggas got to get whacked. Was that The Godfather? Or was that a different fucking movie? I think that was The Godfather. Could have been part 2. That's what Eric Adams did with these gangs. He invited them in. He seen which one was malleable. He seen which individuals could he work with by their representation that was in his building. And then after he ascertained who he could work with, then he decided who he was going to go after. The activists needed to be at that meeting. We needed you there. Why? Because you was talking about defund the police. Now they're about to have another meeting. The activists need to be there. I think they will be. The activists need to be there. I think they will be. And they need to be allowing for these rappers and these other individuals that don't necessarily know how to speak in these matters to be able to have a voice. To be able to have a voice. Remember, the number one thing Satan want to do is take your voice. That's what Satan is trying to do. Whenever you see somebody trying to take your voice, that's Satan. Whenever you see somebody trying to take somebody else's voice, that's Satan. Satan want to take your voice. Satan want to be able to misrepresent you. You know how you drive somebody into madness? You make them live in a world that is contrary to who they are. I'm going to say that again. You know how you drive a person into madness? You force them to live in a world that goes against who they are. That literally drives a person to madness. Any sane individual will start going mad. So that's what Satan is trying to do. So when they go speak to that man, we need anybody there that can give them a voice. And I say we because I'm not speaking for rap and I'm not speaking for gangs. I'm speaking for the people in our community that are just a part of the landscape where the violence happens. The mothers, the grandmothers, the children, the babies, the working stiff. They need the activists to be there. They need the activists to work with these gangs and work with the police. Shlomo Aziz says gunmen are a public health problem, not guns. That's a fact. Said hi Frost, good day all. This is a fact. When we see somebody get beat and killed with a bat, you don't hear anybody say, we got to get bats off the market. Them bats. But more importantly, we have to change the way the mind thinks. We have to improve individuals' ability to hope. So the first thing we got to do is we got to cast out all of Satan. Whenever we see somebody bringing that negative energy, we have to step in unison. Not watch to see what that guy gonna do. Not watch to see what that woman is gonna do. We have to collectively come together and support one another. Period. If you're not doing that, you're part of the problem. Period. So I want to say shout out to Eric Adams. Because they had a little 11-year-old girl that was shot and killed on the street the other day. I don't want to hear how rappers shouldn't go to jail when they're saying words about how they shooting into crowds in lyrics. Because that's motivating them fools out there to go shoot into crowds, even if the rapper isn't doing it. So I don't want these words used against them in the court of law. Don't get this confused. But let's not pretend like there aren't people out here that are mentally incapable of differentiating reality from their imagination. Street Story said, bring back stop and frisk. I want them to just, I know what I want them to do. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to speak it into existence. Because by doing this, you will help the community in the short run, but hurt our civilization in the long run. So I'm not going to say it because I don't want to speak it into existence, and I hope it doesn't happen. But I will say this. Stop and frisk only works when we have good police. That's the only time it works. It doesn't work if there's bad police. It doesn't work if they go put stop and frisk checkpoints up. Like the only stop and frisk checkpoint you should have is if there is an event somewhere. So in this particular area where there's an event, you got some stop and frisk checkpoints. Terrorists exist, motherfuckers. I'm okay with that. You have a location like Times Square, stop and frisk exists. Okay, I'm okay with that. It's an extremely large area. If they could 100% show proof that you are acting sketchy and weird in a place where everybody is acting sketchy and weird, it's going to be pretty difficult. And for anybody that says that that's not makes sense, somebody shot up Times Square a couple of years ago, and I think they're saying it's the River Park Tower dudes. COVID-19 lockdown equal low gun violence. Last year, around this time, there was more gun violence than this year around this time. Were we in lockdown last year? Because the gun violence was actually up in New York City. And now you're even adding that we kind of had a lockdown. So it shouldn't have been up, should it? It should have actually been down. Thank you for bringing out that actually great point. Last year, it should be less gun violence than this year. But it was actually more last year. At least at this same time of the year. Shout out to Black Power Cross. He said ghost guns number are up though. Just because of the fact that ghost guns exist, it don't make sense for people to say make guns illegal all over across the board. Because people can literally make guns in their crib. This is a fact. The problem literally is mental health. And I'm not talking about white people, or the white man, you just do. No, I'm saying in all communities, mental health. In all communities. You got people that live with their back against the wall. Let's first figure out a way to do something about that. We need to figure out how we're going to help the people that live with their back against the wall. How we expect for them not to raise children in trauma. How do we expect for them, no matter how good of a parent they are, I'm one of those people that don't think that you should get your child everything your child wants. But I do 100% believe that there's just certain things that your child really, really wants, and you're supposed to go out of your way to get it. Those are those moments that you show your child that they are more important than anything else in the world. It's those moments. What can you do more for your child than to help try to create a better world for them that they live in? So you need to be active to a degree in your community. You can't be inactive. You have to speak out, have a voice. You have to, when possible, go out to events, talk to others, exchange ideas. These things are important. You got to go out. You got to vote. Maybe y'all could collectively get together as a group and talk about the issues that your specific community need fixed. Because when you start voting like that, when you pull up to a politician and say, I got 1,000 voters, what are you talking about? Oh, no, you see, we're this insert location, and we got between 1,000 to 1,200 people that are voting, and we want to know what you're going to do about this, and we want to know what you're going to do about that. Yep, can guarantee these votes. That's when you have power. But when you're moving like this, you know what? I'm going to be an individual. You have much less power. And that's what our problem in our communities is. We decide that we're not going to work with one another towards a common cause. We decide we'd rather tear each other down and cause each other hardship than we are ready to improve each other's life and, just be a good human being. And I'm not saying we as in everybody. I'm just trying to say, you know what we're talking about. Aziz says, yeah, I'm just kicking that guy. Aziz says, street story stop and frisk is used on minorities. You never see non-whites being stopped and frisked. And that's the issue. That's why I said stop and frisk only works when you have good police. If you don't have good police, stop and frisk don't work. It just doesn't. It's bad for everybody involved. You need good police in order for stop and frisk to work. So you need accountability. I think that the problem is this. If the police officer has his camera on at all times and he has no privacy while he's at work, we're moving towards that. We're literally moving towards a world where when a police officer is on duty, he has to have his camera on at all times. We're literally moving towards that. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm thinking that might be where we need to go. Just being honest with you. Hey. It's a vibe says it's like that in Canada now. What they call Toronto? They call somewhere up there like Little New York. Is that Toronto? New York City pushes the algorithm. Let's just be honest. New York City pushes the algorithm. Let's just be honest. You can make it here, you can make it anywhere. All that mumbo jumbo. New York City pushes the algorithm. So you know it is what it is. A lot of places are similar. It is what it is. Shout out to Prince Amir dropping the cash app in the chat. Why don't like 6 people pull up right now and just pop bottles early in the morning? For real, for real. I'm not even joking. I am making a joke though. I'm making a joke, but I am so not joking. Street Story looks to me like he's just trying to start an argument. I don't really want to argue. I'll unbag him, but it just looks like he just wants to start an argument. He said, bring back stop and frisk. And then he says, but all the black people are committing all the murders. The minorities are committing all the murders. That's why it's okay for the minorities to be the one that's being checked. But we just have shootings all over the place in America where minorities aren't the people committing all the murders. We just had we just had a person walking around with needles that they could have been sticking people with. So when I say that, I'm saying I don't want no racist comments or comments that's even almost racist. That person probably didn't mean it as a racist comment. Probably literally meant it as, but the minorities, yeah, because we're talking about neighborhoods where only minorities live damn near. So of course the minorities are committing all of the crimes where only minorities live. So that's just trying to start an argument that don't make sense. So who's going to be doing the crimes where the only people that are there are minorities? You get it? Just trying to race bait and start a race conversation so we can go talk about black people or talk about white people or whatever the fuck. That's the way I felt about it. I tell you what though, I'll unblock. We'll wait for the next one. But Toronto doesn't have all the skinny 5-foot Mexican bloods. Funny as shit. I'll unblock, but I'm telling you what that sounded like. Only minorities. Why would somebody else be doing the murders where only minorities are at? That's what I mean by people say stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't want to deal with race baiting. I don't want to deal with it. But for Toronto, he said Toronto doesn't have all of New York City. The person probably, whether they meant it like that or not, I'm just saying the way in which I perceived the conversation. That's like saying we need to put all the Mexicans in Mexico in jail because Mexicans in Mexico, they the worst threat to Mexicans because Mexicans is always killing Mexicans. You understand what I'm saying? It's just Mexicans is always, but that's all that's in Mexico. So who else is killing them? You really expect for people to like what you expect for them to be like the Predator movies and shit? There's people coming from outside of Mexico to hunt Mexicans, and that's the only time Mexicans get killed. So you understand what I'm saying? Like, anyway. No, I'm gonna unblock them. That's what I'm saying, because apparently I don't ever know anything. Or sometimes I'm wrong, right? So I'm gonna unblock them. There you go. Toronto had a higher gun and crime rate than New York City 2 to 3 years ago, and they don't have Mexicans like that. Okay, stop. Could we just stop with all the race jokes? All of the race jokes, please. All of the race jokes. And I didn't know there are a lot of skinny 5-foot Hispanic bloods, but there's a lot of skinny 5-foot black bloods too. I get the joke. I do want to be able to have humor and fun. Yeah, I don't know why the person's saying Mexicans either. That don't make sense. You said Hispanics. That's why I look back at the comment. Hispanics make sense. It's the same. I don't know no blood Mexicans except for Takashi. No, that I don't know no Mexicans as bloods. That's not a thing. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that's not a thing. I just don't like the race baiting. I don't like the race baiting. We got to get beyond that. That's all. I don't like Sometimes we gotta have conversation. It's white person, black person. I get it. Mexican person, Puerto Rican person, Dominican person. I get it. But I prefer to have those when we're not comparing them. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, let's not be comparing them. Let's not do that. Because that's how you create animosity. You know what I'm saying? That's why I never compare your children. That's how you create animosity. Some of y'all jokingly compare your children as children, and then they grow up the rest of their lives really not like any other one. You understand what I'm saying? But y'all take it as sibling rivalry. It's really not sibling rivalry. You understand what I'm saying? Sibling rivalry is when we both see that we both want to win. You know what I'm saying? We competing to make each other stronger. Sibling rivalry is saying, I see you doing some shit, and I'm just trying to fuck up your life. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just trying to hurt you, what you got going on. That's not sibling rivalry. I don't believe in sibling rivalry anyway. So it don't even matter, but that's not sibling rivalry. At least that's something else. That's just hating each other. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we need to delineate the difference between the two. We need to understand that there's a difference. There's a difference between me working with you because I'm trying to sharpen your knife and me working with you because I'm trying to dull your blade. You understand what I'm saying? There's a difference. Aziz says the subject reminded me of the DNA discount advertisement for Aero Mexico Airlines. I have no idea what you're talking about. You have a point, bro. Race convos is kind of whack. Yeah, so I try to stay out of them because I'm, I think, mature enough to have the conversation. I believe you are also. But remember, there's always going to be people that's going to try to take our words out of context. And then now we're a whole racist. Or maybe now we're a whole this. Or maybe now we're a whole that. You know, so Satan never sleeps. So, Satan is always just looking for the opportunity to create division, looking for the opportunity to create hardships, especially if you consider yourself a good man or a good woman. Understand that Satan is 100% on your back, or he's trying to get on your back. You understand what I'm saying? So be careful about what you're doing. Who you chill with, businesses, you know, even who you shake your hands with sometimes. I prefer to do fist bumps a lot because I don't really even want to shake people's hands because sometimes when you realize that now you can't exchange energies with people. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Sometimes I'll be listening outside. Hold on a second. Oh, my knee. What the heck? Don't tell him what she's doing. Oh, my knee. That's why rap music and trying to big up gangs is just plain stupid. Well, Paul James, I'm assuming that you're the account that I just kicked because you just said something and you acted like they were complimentary to one another and they weren't. So I'm gonna ignore your comment and not even engage. So let's talk about this Eric Adams New York City problems that we have currently right now. Because this is not about rap video. Obviously, you haven't even heard me talking about rappers too tough. We've literally only been talking about street violence. Pay attention to when people are trying to lower your frequency. Sometimes people want to lower your frequency because they can't raise to your frequency. So they need you to lower the frequency in order for them to even be able to engage you in conversation. That's a fact. So they're constantly always trying to lower my frequency over here, and it gets me frustrated. And when I see our own community trying to also agree that I should lower my frequency, that gets me upset. So I'm going to try not to get upset at the lowering of the frequencies. Please don't try to encourage me, if you're a part of this community, to lower my frequency. That's what I'm asking. I'm literally asking, please don't encourage me to lower my frequency. That's the part that allows for these guys to get to me, not them saying whatever the fuck they say. Alright? Y'all feeding into that shit is the part that fucks with me and upsets me. Alright? Black Power Course said, I wonder how the Buffalo shooter talk about Eric Adams. I have no idea. You know why we don't have white people coming into our buildings and shooting our buildings up? Anybody know why we don't have white people coming to our neighborhoods and shooting our neighborhoods up indiscriminately? Anyone? Even one person. Does even one person know does even one person know why white people don't generally come to our neighborhoods and shoot our neighborhoods up with rifles or guns of some kind? Does anyone know? I mean, it doesn't happen. Black Power, of course, says no one cares about the hood anyway. That's a good reason. That's a good reason. That might be it. But remember, they just want to kill black people. Remember, they went to a black area with low density population. They're not coming to these black areas with high density populations. It's easy said, we have guns. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's people up in Buffalo that had guns. There was a guy in the building that had guns. Okay, you know what? Boom. I can get with that. We got guns. Everybody got guns though. You know, except for people in the schools. So I guess I could get with that. We got guns. What you mean not they, he? I don't understand. They rather lynch us or leave us for the police to feed off our flesh. No, they're scared because the gangs are heavy in Harlem. How often do you think these guys are going to try to come to Harlem with AR-16s and shit like that? Gangs. You don't think they're legitimately scared of gangs? You don't think these dudes is legitimately scared of the gangs? I'm asking. So I am all the way against gang violence. I don't want gang violence. I don't need us to stop killing each other. I need us to do better. I need us to figure out a way to work with each other. Right? That's what I need. See? Told you he's just trying to ask antagonizing questions. That's why I just keep kicking him every time he comes back with another account. That's what I need. I'm not lowering my vibration. That's what I need. You understand? That. Oh, they. No. I could have said they. I could have said they. You're saying he. Not a problem. You're being pedantic. Not a problem. I misspoke. I hope I can't. I misspoke. When I said they, I was talking about the proverbial white racist organizations. I thought that was clear. That I was talking about the proverbial white racist. Man. Alright, so I see what we're doing. You're going to be pedantic in every little thing I say. You're going to try to clarify like I'm saying something wrong. Copy, why not? I got you. No, I don't want to lower my vibration. That's all they try to do is lower my vibration. And like I said before, the shit that gets to me isn't them. The shit that gets to me is the people that's supposed to be part of our community then giving the shit that they're saying credence. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I got to go into a really long explanation, and then it makes it sound like I'm being a douchebag. Like I think I'm smarter than everybody. So it's like, what the fuck? I'm thinking you knew this. Anyway, sorry about that. So I want y'all to pay attention to something, right? This summer is going to be bad. They're already projecting that this summer is going to be bad. They're projecting that crime this summer is going to be some of the worst it ever was. They're going to possibly, their projections is like in the last 10, 15, 20 years or something. They're saying that it's going to be terrible crime. So what they're actively trying to do, and this is what I'm trying to explain to people, is they're not trying to lock everybody up. They're trying to find the violent gangs and take them off the street. I've told y'all this before. This is what this channel is about. I don't want to throw our brothers away. I don't want to throw our sisters away. I want us to figure out a way that we can all work together as a community, and we can all be each other's support system and help each other be able to win. That's what I want. I don't want... Hold on. That's what I want. I don't want our brothers all in jail, dead, or on drugs, or running from the police. I don't want us all somewhere suffering in poverty either. That's insanity. First of all, we kick this dream that you got to go to college in order to be able to make it. We got to kick that dream. That's the first thing that got to go out of the window. Because a lot of people, most of the billionaires didn't even go to college. So how are you trying to tell me? I don't think Elon Musk went to college. Bill Gates, I don't think he went to college. Fucking most of these niggas ain't even going to college. So how are you telling me I got to go to college to make it? You're telling me to go into debt. That's what America does. America sends our youth to go into debt. That's the real reason why all of these freaking, why all of the fucking student loans need to be 100% exonerated down to zero. 100% down to zero. Every student loan needs to be abolished. If they could send all of that money to the Ukraine, they could decide that they don't spend it, that they don't need our student loans. If they could send all of that money to Africa for all of the things that they send over there for Africa, then they could say, you know what? Boom. We can give y'all all of y'all money back for the student loans. Everybody's student loan is at zero. And what we're going to start doing is we're going to start putting programs together so that the people that can't afford college can now either get a job to help work them through college or whatever the case is, because we got to make a thing happen. All college is about is debt. Most of the jobs that you can get without going to college. They hire you when you have a college degree because they understand how badly you need the job because you have to pay back your debt. Copy? Why are you going to hire somebody that has a degree? Both people are complementary or has the same skill set, have the same ability. But this person has debt and this person doesn't. You can control this person. This person you can't. Why would you hire this person? A person that you cannot control, but this person you can. So that's what's happening. That's why they are hiring people with college degrees over people that don't. It has zero to do with your ability. Half of the time, the people that don't have the college degrees actually have more real life experience. And then they tell you got to have 3 years of experience for a thing. So they're just trying not to hire you off the rip. They're trying to make sure you go in debt. So that's something that we need to fix. Stop sending our youth that's coming from situations of poverty into debt through the fucking loans to go to school. But nobody's talking about this. Nobody's talking about how Biden just skated around that whole giving people back their forgiving the student loans. Nobody says skilled labor is cheap. Boom, I'm kicking you right out the door. Got anything else I didn't say? That's why I'm kicking people. Every single person that come in here and say something I didn't say or try to lower my vibration, I'm kicking you dead out the door. I don't got to talk to you. For the other people that are in here that y'all want to actually have conversation and talk about the topics that we're talking about and or bring up other better topics or other interesting topics, go right ahead. Don't make the people that's purposely trying to bait me into arguments, me seeing them trying to bait me into arguments, so me kicking them, make you decide that you can't talk. That's crazy. With that being said, let's get 5 to 10 $10 drops to the Cash App. Could we slap some haters? Could we slap some haters with a whole knuckle sandwich? That's a dub drop. Could we slap some haters with a whole knuckle sandwich? We're actually having a pretty good show today. And that's just like 1 or 2 people that's just going and switching accounts and coming back. I'm not kicking a million people. Sebastian Tompkins says, I'm in the process now of the HVAC blade, planning on going into business for myself. Look, at the way that the world is, I subscribe that everyone teaches their children to be able to work on their own. I subscribe that people teach their children the ability to be able to run a business, own a business, or start a business. Maybe they don't feel like doing any of these things. But we're supposed to give our children as many tools as possible in order to help them try to build and take care of themselves. So let's start giving our children tools. And with that being said, we have to actually figure out a way to spend more time with our children. A lot of people go to work for 8 hours. Then you come home and you and your child might not even be in the same house together for more than 2 hours without being either asleep or eating. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things that we need to do. And that's another reason why we need a PAL. And places like that. PALs could also help feed people that need food. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe the PAL could also have programs that can help the youth make a couple of extra bucks while they go feed the homeless and prepare meals, and you got chef programs or whatever it is. So kids that can learn how to do things that they think they're probably learning how to be a chef, but in reality maybe they're just learning how to cook for themselves, so when they get older and they have their own home, they could be able to cook for them and their family. I took cooking classes before. Them shits is lit. So those things, these are the things that I would like. We need PALs up, and we need to expand them past just athletics. We need to expand them to just teaching kids how. You can have the teachers can literally go to the PALs that want extra overtime. People can literally go to PAL. Literally go to PAL. Literally. And get overtime pay. Or they could stay in the school and you could leave the school open and the schools could now be ran as the PAL. So you don't have to build new buildings. And you could just have certain local schools run as a PAL after a certain time of day. And in the summer. And you got those same schools open up on holidays to feed the homeless. Schools got cafeterias, right? Maybe not the homeless coming inside the building, but they can be a place for them to go take the foods on the outside. Like, we have to figure out a way. These are things that can be done. And they got a lot of people that wouldn't mind working 3-4 extra hours a day, 2-3 extra hours a day, maybe doing something that they love. You think police officers is working extra entire shifts? You don't think if you say, look, we can't give you a whole extra shift, we know that it's going to hurt your pockets, but in next week, if you want to go pull up at the PAL for 2-3 hours a day, nah, man, play basketball, do all types of shit. Mind, Body, and Soul says, please delete them and don't stop the show. Why even acknowledge the haters? They have to be distracted. Don't let them win. Copy. I will not even acknowledge. I haven't been acknowledging them. I have just been kicking a lot of them without saying anything. That's a fact. You ain't wrong. As you can see, we're changing some of the practices that's done here. And I need the practices changed immediately. With that being said, if anybody wants to drop anything into the Cash App, we need like 10 $50 drops to the Cash App immediately. I be making jokes, but I really don't be joking. I really need absolutely every single person I could pull up to the Cash App to pull up to the Cash App right now. For real, no jokes, all real talk. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. And we gotta see, it's also we gotta see who can pull up and who can't. With that being said, we're gonna continue the show. And keep in mind, I need thank you, I appreciate you, mind, body, and soul. And keep in mind, like I need y'all to really I need like 15 more y'all to pull up also. Yo, I be telling jokes and shit, and I be so serious. Let's get to the show. Listen and pay attention. I want to be extremely clear on this. I don't want there to be any mistake made. I don't want nobody to not understand what's being said. I want to be clear on this. I want to be clear on this. I'm gonna assume this is Mind Body. Shout out to Mind and Body with the $9 drop. Definitely appreciate you, baby girl. Appreciate you to the utmost. You know when I do this is me showing gratitude, right? Yeah, I know that's what I'm doing, right? I'm showing gratitude. Just so it's stupid for me to say that, but I don't think people know that that's what I'm doing. Like I'm really, really do appreciate everything. Appreciate the $9 drop. No comment, Clint Eastwood eyes. Who's next? Can we add a 0 on the next time? Who's next? Who's gonna add a 0? Let me keep going. So listen and pay attention. I want to be clear on this. I don't want there to be no misunderstanding. We're actually doing better, not worse. They're just publicizing it and putting it on television more. It's popping up in social media more because now there's an agenda. Because there's an agenda. Copy? I just want to be clear on this. Since there's an agenda, they put that and press that up in the news more than anything else. Do I think there should be an agenda? I don't know. What the fuck do I know? I want crime to go down. If there's something that is gonna help crime go down, I'm for that. But I don't think that the people that help crime go up in the first place should benefit. Does that make sense? I don't think that the people that cause for crime to go down in the first, to go up in the first place should benefit. I just don't think that they should benefit. That's what a lot of these conversations be about. Shout out to, I'm going to call you Smooth. Shout out to Smooth with the dub drop. Smooth said, I seen your $9 and I upped it 11. Who's next? He said, no comment, Clint Eastwood eyes. He said, the next mofo, let's see if you could up it 11. Let's see if you could up it 5. Let's see if you could up it with a 0. Who's next? Shout out to, when I do that, this is literally me showing my appreciation, man. If people are making fun of the fact that I'm showing my appreciation, I don't know what to tell you. That just goes to show you what they are at. Boom. Definitely appreciate you guys. Definitely welcome. I need like 30 more you niggas to pull up immediately. I'm gonna have to go in like 2 seconds. If I go offline, I still need like 30 y'all to pull up. I be saying shit. I be so serious. Y'all don't understand. With that being said though, there's an agenda right now. Now listen and pay attention. I don't even think they would have been able to do what they're doing right now if they didn't have a black man in office. I'm going to explain this. This is the conversation that we wanted to have and why the other one specifically said Eric Adams. Shout out to Sebastian T with the $10 drop. He said support, not much, but it won't hurt. A little won't hurt. I need like 20 more y'all to think the same way this nigga think. A little won't hurt. Shout out to Sebastian Tompkins. Shout out. I'm going to give everybody a shout out that just did a drop. Hold on. Shout out to Sebastian Tompkins. Shout out to the Mind, Body, and Soul. And shout out to Smooth. I need like at least that's 10. I need at least like 15 of y'all have the same idea. A little won't hurt. Let's get back to the show though. I like making jokes like that, by the way. Like, y'all don't understand my humor. Like, I like making jokes like that. So when I'm doing the jokes about how I need y'all to pull up to the Cash App, I'm actually having more fun than you think I'm having, and I'm actually not really joking at the same time. So my humor is a little different. With that being said, listen and pay attention. They couldn't do this with de Blasio in office. You get it? If de Blasio was in office, they wouldn't be able to do this. This would not be something that's a possibility. They needed to have a black man in the office to be able to say, we have to go after the street gangs. They needed a black man in office to say, we have to go after the street gangs. Because as soon as somebody would have went after the street gangs and they would not have been black, they would have been accused of being a racist. Not only is he a black man, but he also was a police officer. I don't agree with everything Eric Adams says. But I don't need to agree with everything that you say to be behind what you're doing. The next time any freaking people, rappers, or anything go speak to Eric Adams specifically, we need to have some activists there with him. With them. We're not trying to trick or convince or cause anybody to do anything. All we're trying to do is make sure that there's good dialogue. Wait, why don't I open a what? My own Frost brand franchise. How do I do that? Tell me how to do that. DM it to me or something. That sounds like a great idea. I don't know how to do any of that. DM it to me. Somebody put my DM. Everybody pull up to the Cash App. Every single person here that fuck with me, for real, pull up to the Cash App. I know people are waiting for tonight. I need you to not wait for tonight, is my point. With that being said, they needed a black man in office to do this. I don't know how the world would have accepted it, or New York City would have accepted it, if it was somebody in the office doing this that was not a black man. I'm very happy that a black man came into this position with this mindset and decided to do these things. Because I don't want our brothers and sisters locked up, but I also don't want them in the grave. People are too flagrant on social media with their brandishing of weapons. I just was watching a news lady the other day telling a story somewhere, and she's talking about how the gun violence is crazy, and a kid walked past her, pointed a gun at the camera, and kept walking down the block. So, and he pulled his mask down while doing it, just so we can be clear. So they want people to know what time they on. There's a new thing where they want people to know that they're criminals. They want people to know that they're going to kill people. I don't understand why we don't want these specific individuals off of the street. These people are actively saying, look, we are killers. We're killing our own. We don't even got a reason. These aren't people saying, if you break into my home, I'm going to defend myself. I just want to be clear on this. And I'm not talking about the rappers. I'm specifically talking about people on social media. When they on their social media posts, I'm not even talking about the rappers right now. I'm talking about that. Most of the people out here shooting the street up ain't people that's making music. It's the people that's standing next to them on social media, flashing the guns. We need that to stop. That 11-year-old girl was hit. I heard her father say she don't usually go outside. I don't know how true that is. But I heard her father say she don't usually go outside. They just bring her outside on this day. That shit broke my heart. So they trying to tell me this baby usually don't even come outside. So she was super excited. She was having one of the best days of her week. This was her free time. It's like when I hear these kids get shot when they sitting in their house playing video games. Like, how? I don't want Eric Adams to talk about putting gangs in jail if he isn't also going to talk about providing resources to the community. Period. If you're only going to talk about putting gangs in jail, I don't want to hear about it. Because that's not fixing the problem. The problem is a lack of resources. When you're just putting people in jail, but you don't add the resources, you're trying to mask the problem. The real problem is that you want to put people in jail. Because they're going to continue to commit the crimes unless you add resources. So if you're just putting people in jail without adding resources, you're in the business of putting people into jail. You are not in the business of making a better society. So I don't know where he stands on this. I think he wants to fund the community because I've heard him speaking on said matter. I heard him saying that they need to, they need help from the rest of the population. Like, you know, it's not just the police in this. The police ain't in this all alone. So it sounds to me like he's ready to put some money into some teachers' hands, maybe. He's ready to put some money into some organizations' hands, maybe. So we could try to stem the problem. So we could try to... Poverty is not going to go away. You're not going to fix poverty. Poverty is essential to a capitalist society. See, this is what I mean by when I have these conversations and I be like saying, well, I'm having conversations based on sociology reports and experimentations and shit like that. So I'm having conversations based on that. So when people are trying to have conversations based on what you think and what you've been through, I'm not trying to poo-poo that. I'm just trying to say I'm having a different conversation. You understand what I'm saying? So what you have to understand is, literally, if they're not trying to put something in our communities that's going to then help individuals not be as impoverished, then you're literally just creating a system where you're putting people in jail. And this is things that civilizations do, by the way. Because no capitalist society could work without a community that's impoverished. In order for the highest 1% to have most of the income, there has to be people at extreme poverty levels. You understand? The bigger the difference between the poor class and the 1%, the more money the 1% basically has. Because first of all, the more value whatever money they have has. So the money itself increases in value, not just the amount of it. So when we understand that, you realize a lot of these shits is just criminal mills. A lot of our neighborhoods are just mills for the prisons. They send the worst teachers there. They make sure that our schools have the least resources. They make sure that maybe we got bad water in our buildings. The piping's all fucked up. I need pipes here fixed. Real talk. The pipes is all fucked up with some shit. You don't never know what's going on. And then what happens is that affects you physically, it affects you mentally. Now, instead of being the person who you could have been, you are a person who you are now. We got people that really don't expect to live past. We got people that don't expect to live past their teenage years. We need to make it in style to wear cheap clothes. That's what they need to make in style. We need to make it in style to rock some $60 shoes, $70 shoes. We need to make that in style. We need to make it in style to rock $15, $20 shirts. We need to make that in style. We need to find a brand that's affordable and make them niggas in style. That's what we need to do. We need to do that. Because you got kids out here killing for belts. Belts. I remember there was a generation of us that didn't wear belts. You got people killing for belts. So I'm not 100%. I can't say myself that I know where New York City street crime and all of this stuff, or what Eric Adams is going to do. I can't say I know where it's going. But we've made some steps. Let's talk about these rap lyrics. I want to talk about these rap lyrics now, if y'all don't mind. We can talk about these rap lyrics and rap. Okay, so I want to explain something to everybody why I'm telling y'all don't be mad at Eric Adams. He's really trying to work with people. That bill that was just passed in New York State, pardon me, everywhere, this needs to be a federal thing. It's not going to be, but it needs to be a federal thing. I'm going to explain why. I'm going to explain to you why it's so crazy to put rap lyrics into the court system. What happens when the dude divorces that chick, and then the chick goes to the divorce court and says, see, he says he was sleeping, he was cheating on me in this rap, and he said he was cheating on me in that rap, and now she wants to get a ton of money in the divorce. And the judge says, well, he said it in the raps. Bam! What about if somebody come out and said we gotta put Eminem in a mental asylum? You're like, wait, why we gotta put Eminem in a mental asylum? They said, hey, do you hear Eminem songs? That's how insane it sounds to say that you're gonna use people's rap lyrics against them in court across the board. I believe the only way that anybody's lyrics should be able to use against them in court is if the lyrics pertain to an actual crime that the police could quantify. If the police cannot quantify that crime through your lyrics, then it should not be used in court. And that don't got shit to do with First Amendment. They got everything to do with fucking evidence. Me saying something, hypothetically, is not evidence. An argument could be made that anything in music is hypothetical. Copy? I really should be a lawyer. Facts. Our youth need options which are created by resources. These are facts. I really should be a fucking lawyer. Or work with one. The fuck? An argument could be made that anything in a rap song could be hypothetical. Anything in music is hypothetical. An argument could be made that music is about emotion, not about literal events. An argument could be made for that. Music is about emotion. It's not about actual events. There's an argument that could be made for that. So I'm against using lyrics across the board. But yes, absolutely. If a rapper says something and they can quantify that with evidence that that's a thing that the rapper either made happen or he was a part of, then that's on that rapper's lawyer to try to figure out how they're going to defend themselves. That shit gets in the court. But a rapper saying, you know, a random violent line, and then you say, well, this guy talks about violence all the time, we think he was a part of it. No, what the fuck are you talking about? So that's all you got? That's all you got. All you got is that he says that, you know, he's violent. You don't have actual violence. Ah. Go figure. No actual violence. You just have you have imaginations. I was trying to like freak the word, like I was trying to make a new word, like make a word up, but I couldn't think of one that would have been as on point and good as imaginations. That's an actual word. So you're just having imaginations of things. No, we're not doing that. Can't do that. That's that, and that has nothing to do with the First Amendment, by the way. That has to do with the court proving something. Me having made a song about a thing isn't proof. You understand what I'm saying? They're just lowering the vibration in order to try to get something through. Me making a song about something isn't proof. Now, if you have evidence that then connects the song to something, that's proof. The fuck? Stop letting people trick you, man. That's what I keep trying to explain. A lot of people just deal with narcissists a lot. So what happens is our collective way of, because most politicians are narcissists, and a lot of our media over the last couple of years have been about political events. So all of us have been dealing with narcissists a lot and listening to a lot of narcissistic speak. Just so we can be clear. If you don't think Biden is a narcissist, I don't know what to tell you. If you don't think Obama's a narcissist, if you think that you could become president without being narcissistic, I don't know what to tell you. I have no idea what to tell you. If you think you could become president without being self-centered, I don't know what to tell you. Gotta go.